Welcome, guys, to day one. And we haven't done this in a while. We've been super busy with life in general.
There's been a lot of change lately.
Has been quite the change. The topic that we have for today is something that it has really impact. It has a very big impact in my life. Um, since the age of 18, 19, I started seeking for mentorship within the Christian world. It's discipleship, right? There's the spiritual part, which you get discipled, and then there's the business part, which you get mentor. You get me? But a mentor will never fulfill that spiritual part unless it's like a Christian entrepreneur that has been through it and is discipling you. Then it goes through the whole part and the whole thing. So since the age of 19, it's been a wild ride for me. You get me? It was super wild because it's not always pretty.
Mhm.
It's not always the easiest thing, and more when you have leaders that are very strong character. You get me? But today's topic is Steven.
Why today's topic is why having a mentor can really accelerate your growth. And I think that is something that I learned like in the last year because I think that we grew up with mentors, but we don't realize that they're mentors for us. Because, for example, for me, my first mentor, I could say that is my father, because he was the one that, when I was growing, he was teaching me how to do a lot of things in life.
Hmm.
And I saw him like a person that I want to be one day. Like once I grow up, I want to be like him. But then when you're growing, like you start to see a lot of new things. You start to open your mind to a lot of things that you didn't used to see before. And I think that is really fundamental, the fact that we have to find a mentor in every stage in our life, because
Hmm.
like I say, it's really gonna help you to accelerate the growth in your life. And for example, for me, you are being a mentor because since the moment that I get to meet you to now, I think it's been a whole journey, and I've been changing a lot of things, and I've been able to see a lot of new things, and maybe even the same problems, but with a new perspective. Because you've been teaching me things that has been really life changing for me, and that's something that I will not be able to do since it wasn't because of your help. So I think that is something really fundamental in our lives.
Yeah, the most important thing about you know finding the right mentor is really being sincere with yourself. I remember one of the things that we did when you were I met you when the first time that you came to LA.
Mm-hmm.
Met you, you had your own mindset, you had like your own world going on. The second time that you were coming, the first thing that you did was what you sent me a text like, "Hey, I'm going to LA," right? And when you got to LA, the first thing that I did was take you out for coffee to see what was it that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? It's very important when you're finding a mentor that it aligns with your values. You get me? You do not want to have a mentor that cheats people and that's not your values. I mean, if your values is that, dude, like
Go for it.
go for it. But my values or our values are more based on good values, good morals, Christian based values. And for me, it's very important. The first things I told you was, okay, these are the five things that we work on. If you work on those five things, you are gonna prosper. You get me? uh, you were just listening. You weren't like trying to say, "Oh, but how about this? How about that?" You were just listening. And I feel like within your values and your morals, you saw. I think that you saw different mentors that you had in your life, and then you saw that kind of mentor that I was becoming. And also another thing, I don't know what brought you to like seeing, hey, I want to be mentor or disciple by you. But I think, and I could imagine that it's like a word of mouth. You get me, or a reference of like, hey, like this guy has been doing this with me and it's been working. Or did it bring you to this point, to that point of like sitting down with me at a coffee shop and talking things through?
So what happened was that the first time that I came, I was like you say in my world doing my things, but then a lot of bad choices took me to a place that I didn't want to be there anymore. I have to pay the consequences that were really expensive and hard to get over it. But then I was in a point in my life where I saw Felipe, and I texted him like, bro, I see that you've been doing better than what you were doing in New York. And he told me like, yeah, Sarak has been helping me. He's been teaching me a lot of things. And I was like, damn, like it's interesting how in a year I went deep into a hole that bring me a lot of bad things because of my decisions. But then I compare myself to Felipe and I was like, damn, he's been growing a lot and he's been doing a lot of better things with his life than what I was doing. So I was like, okay, what is he doing that I'm not doing in order to do better in life? And then I started to like realize that I wasn't in the right path, that I was doing things in my life that was taking me to a place that I didn't want to be.
Hmm.
So I had to take a choice like, do I want to continue going this path that I know that at the end there's not gonna be nothing good waiting for me, or do I want to really like take a different path and change my life? But also sometimes like change that path could be really hard because that means that you have to die to a lot of things that maybe you are in love or something things that you love to do. Like for example, me, I used to go racing with my friends and everything, and it's something that I love to do, but I had to take a choice. Do I, if I want to continue doing this, I'm just gonna be having to deal with more things that I don't have the money to do, and at the end it's not gonna be healthy for me. So look, okay, I have to stop doing this
Hmm.
because if I want to change my life, I
Hmm.
can't be doing the same things.
Exactly.
And then I came back here, and that's when I text you like, okay, Sarak, like help, I need help. I don't want to keep doing what I was doing. So in order to approach my like approach a mentor, you have to really humble yourself and be open to the fact that if I want to grow, I can't be like putting the things or doing things the way that I think is right,
Hmm.
because if I'm doing the things that I think is right and that hasn't taken me to a good place, and mean that I'm not doing the things that I should be doing.
Mm,
So that means that I have to be humble and tell you like, okay, please help me. What are you doing to do better in life, and what should I change? So I think
exactly.
that is really important that you really be honest with yourself and like take note. Okay, what goals do I want to do? How, what are my values, or what values I want to have, and then approach a mentor that are according to those values. And that's what I did with you.
Yeah. Uh, Going back to that coffee talk, I think it was your first hard talk with me. I love to be clear since the get go with people, right? Why? Because there's always expectations. And I do not want to place an expectation on you or be in an expectation without talking things clear. You get me? And the first thing that I did, and we talked, it was like, okay, what is it that, where do you see your life? What is it that you want to change? And what can I do for you? You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And within those five things, I remember drawing out a house, the example of a house. It's a beautiful example. When you draw out a house, you have one corner in the bottom, one in the top, and then one in the very top, another one, and then another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the five pillars of our house. Those are the five pillars of your house, of your life. So the five pillars of my life. The first pillar is spiritual. You will not succeed as a human without the spiritual. We are spiritual beings. You get me? Next one, the emotional. A lot of your wrong decisions have been because of emotions. You get me? If you're very emotional, or you're going through a time where it's not clear for you because of emotions, and you might not feel like, oh, I'm being emotional, but you know, those not clear times, or those times that are hard, you go through a hardship, or transition times, there are times that you do get emotional. You just try to hide it. You get me? Three, mental. You get me? The mental part is very important. Not only building mental resilience, but also building this, your brain, your education, being able
Stability.
to study, read. You get me? Some people get stuck on this. You have to find a balance, right? Three, physical. Eh, when I was reading a book by a pastor, a Korean pastor, South Korean pastor, Youngi Cho.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book, I believe, is called like More Than Numbers or something like that. He talked about those five areas. This pastor, he had a super mega church in South Korea, uh, more than 1 million attendees. But you see, the Lord had to change his perspective of how he did church to understand five pillars that will make him grow, five pillars that will really lead him to that success. And one of them was the physical pillar. And he was saying, if you do not take care of yourself, right, then you won't be able to have the energy to travel and get a lot of things done. I eat good. He would say, I eat good. I eat healthy because one day I'm in a conference. In 2 hours I'm in another conference. In another 3, 4, 5 hours I'm in another conference. Then I have business calls. So all day he was constantly traveling and doing things. And if he wasn't healthy, he gets what? Burned out.
And he was not gonna be able to do it.
And you see, that pillar is very important. People don't acknowledge how important it is. Health is very important. If you do not take care of your body, if you do not take care of your health, don't expect for your body to live 90 years. You get me? Don't expect for your health to be like peak point performance. It's like a car. It's like a car engine. If you do the tunes and you change the oil and you maintain your
You
vehicle
take care.
well, then it's gonna last longer. If you don't, then it's probably gonna die out. You get me? It gives a lot of problems. So, and the last one, financial. But a lot of people, they want to do it like this. They want to put financial in the very top. You get me? And just focus in financial, and then they want to focus in the physical, and then they want to focus on the mental, and then they want to focus on the emotional, and at the
At the
last one, the
very end.
spiritual. You get me? And it shouldn't be that way. The spiritual will always prosper all of them. It touches all of them. It's the only one that's able to touch all of them. You get me? If you're well in the spiritual, and I just want to read a Bible verse, Psalms 1, 1 through 3. This is my Rema word for 2025, going into 2025. It says, "All the joys of those who do not follow the advice of the wicked," meaning you do not follow the advice of evil people or evildoers, or stand around with sinners. So you say you're apart from people that do evil things, or join with mockers. But they delight in the law of the Lord, or obey the Lord, right? Meditating on it day and night. So you meditate on what? On this, on the
in the
Bible,
world.
day and night. And look at this, the comparison. They are like trees planted along the riverbank, bearing fruit each season. Their leaves never wither, and they prosper in all they do. Super, super, super important why the spiritual is first. It doesn't say, it doesn't say here, verse 3, they are like trees planted along the riverbank, bearing fruit each season. Their leaves never wither, and they prosper in all they do. It doesn't say that first. It says what? But they delight in the law of the Lord, meditating on it day and night. Meaning the spiritual comes first. And then what do? You prosper in all that you do. So you prosper in all that you do, in the emotional, in the mental, in the physical, and the financial. All that you do. You get me? But why? Because this touches everything. Then there's another verse. First, seek the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and everything will be added to you. You get me? It doesn't say go seek, you
Go
know,
make money and then
go
look for God.
exactly. It doesn't say go make money, go make a million, and then go seek God to see what you do with that million. Yeah, it doesn't say that. You get me? It says seek the kingdom of God, meaning you have to look for it. When you seek for something, you're looking for it. It's like if I lose my keys, I'm seeking for my keys. I'm looking for them, moving things. I'm constantly looking for them until I find them. You get me? It's like that. It's the same thing. So those 5 pillars. And then the other part that we did, I don't know if you remember the notebook, and I said, be honest. Be honest. Write every single bad thing that you did because you want to change your life. And you did. You went like full on, full on, full on. And then I explained to you the sacrifice of Jesus, what Jesus came to do for you. The reality of Jesus that people don't understand is the law, the spiritual laws. The spiritual laws is very clear, right? And it's an equilibrium, if you want to call it like that. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's within the spiritual laws, right? And within, for the people that study physics and all that stuff, it's like there's every action has a reaction, right? So it's the same thing. And the spiritual laws, it's if you kill somebody, if your grandpa, let's say grandpa, kill somebody, then within the bloodline, somebody has to pay. You get me? It's not like, oh yeah, like he killed somebody, so like he has to pay. He has to pay. No, he is his bloodline, and somebody has
To pay that.
pay for that. You get me? So that it's called a curse. Now you have a curse in your bloodline. Have you ever wondered why there is babies that die in the womb? Crazy,
Because
right? And scientifically, lack of like, there's a lot of lacks of things that probably like the mother's not producing stuff. But in within the spiritual is life for a life. Your grandpa or great grandpa killed someone, somebody has to pay for it. You get me? And the craziest thing is that you pay double. Sad. Sad reality, but it's how it works. It's it's how you sow. Whatever you sow, you reap. Because that person and down your family line sowed what? Death.
Somebody has to
What do you reap?
that
Death
times two.
times two. Or how the Bible says, sometimes 60, 70, and 100. So there's that part, very important part. And like, you know, people that physics and stuff, every action has a reaction. Some reactions might be delayed, but they come.
Eventually.
So it's super important. And the sacrifice of Jesus, what it comes and does is because of the death of Jesus, right? He comes and cleanses your bloodline. Meaning, the moment that you accept Jesus, from that moment on, your bloodline is cleansed. So he paid for that,
He got the debt.
right? That debt, that curse, is like eye for an eye, is eye and Jesus paid. It's not eye for an eye no more. Yeah, I mean, it's very important. Every single sin, every single bad action that you did, Jesus took it. But now, very important, and this is something that I told you, you define the habits and the things that you do from now on. Because Jesus already paid for it. You're debt free. But you can get into debt again by your own actions. So if you want to change your life, you really have to make the effort to get your habits and your life straight in order with honesty, with humbleness. You get me? Because when you're humble, you humble yourself, you say, dude, I need help with this, I need help with this, and this, and this, then help comes. You get me? So it's super important uh, to learn from the mistakes of a mentor. And this is something that I always tell you. And I always tell the guys, learn from my mistakes. You get me? I've made plenty of mistakes. I'm only here because of the grace of God. That is it. You get me? I was supposed to be there, like that car accident that I had a while back. That's when I was supposed to just out.
Be there.
You get me? Because that crash pretty much left the car like
Like a ball.
little ball. You get me? It was a bad crash. But I got out of the car where the cops looked at me. They were like, um, so
No.
you're not injured?
Something doesn't make too much sense over here.
And they told me like people don't come out alive out of this kind of crashes. And I was like, well, surprise. The only injury that I had was I opened my hand. It's the only injury that I had.
I
But
think that also is important, the fact that when you have a mentor, it doesn't mean that you're perfect. It just means that you have experience, that you believe in a lot of things. What you have to do is learn from your mistakes and respect you, and also learn as much as I can from you. Because I mean, you're still a person. Like, it's normal that a mentor do mistakes. Of course, he's gonna make less mistakes than what I do, but my job is actually learn from your experience. And what I learned from you, I have to also take the opportunity to share that to other people.
exactly.
Because maybe I was maybe right now I'm in a better position, but if I'm in a better position, it's just because I learned from your mistakes, and I'm still learning because there is a lot of things that I still have to work on. But if there is something that I can help someone else to learn from me, that's also something important, because it's not only take the knowledge and keep it from me.
Yeah, that's pretty
Because
selfish. You don't do that. You get me? It's like getting a treasure and hiding it and just not sharing it with anyone. You get me? It's not very wise. And one of the things that I live by the words of Jesus, when he said in the Great Commissions, like, okay, like now go and make disciples in all the world, baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, teaching them what I have taught you. You get me? So my job is what? To teach others what Jesus has taught me. Your job later on is gonna be what?
Teach others.
To teach others what Jesus has taught you. You get me? So we can't keep things. We can't keep the information. My job is for you to become better than me. That's my job. If you're not becoming better, more successful than me in every area, then I'm doing a bad job as a leader. You get me? And what happens with leadership? What happens in business, bro? What happens in business? Everyone just wants to keep things in secrets for themselves. You get me? Like, oh yeah, like you could succeed. It's not succeed more than me. You get me? And I feel like when that happens, you do not leave legacy.
And also, at the end, like when you just want people to grow, but not more than yourself, like the building that the business that you're building is really not gonna grow, because when the people that is around you grow, they're gonna be able to even give you better ideas, to help you build something even bigger than what you thought. But if you just wanna keep everything for yourself, like what you're building is really not gonna get the max potential that could be if you really share what you
Exactly.
know with people.
Exactly. And honestly, like when you have the chance and the opportunity, right now the Lord is blessing us with more men. And if you're watching this and you want to join in, you know, join in. More than happy to be able to help. I love something that I got from my father. He was a pastor. He gave his life for people until the very end. Something that I love to do is invest in people. Just one of the things is I see a lot of brokenness in young men. I see a lot of lack of masculinity and lack of a father in young men. And more young men they don't know how to be a man. They don't know how to act like a man. They don't know how to speak like a man, and they don't know how to respect themselves like a man.
Yeah.
You get
Something
me?
that we was talking the other day is that right now I'm in a point where I'm grateful because God peace is being blessed in my life and it's been changing a lot of things in my life. But it's also like I've been having lately like the feeling that there is a lot of people that where I came from,
Hmm.
the circle that I used to be, that needs help. So if you are watching this podcast, I will highly like recommend you to seek for help from someone that you know that is aligned to the values and the things that you want to do, because doing things by yourself is not really gonna take you that far.
It's like a cycle, dude. You just like, okay, I'm trying to become better, 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 but then I fall back into it, and then I feel bad for falling back into it, and then I do bad, and then I seek help again, and I try to do it again. So it's
Yes.
like a cycle. So you never get things done. You're always like in that race, in that circle, like running the rat race. You get me? And if you really want to break down, you really want to change your life, you need help from the outside. You get me? Not from yourself. Even though you are as smart as you are, even though you could be super intelligent, you need help from the outside. You
Yeah,
get me?
because if you look for help in your circle of people that is doing the same thing that you're doing, they're not gonna
It's
reach.
like, bro, come on, a blind man leading another blind man, dude. What can you expect for them to fall? You get me? You need somebody that sees in order to guide you into where you want to go.
Someone with a bigger perspective of life.
If this is something that is for you, and you want to be part of what we're doing, uh, send us a message. We are open to help. We are actually starting our
Telegram with chat.
Telegram group, right? Where you guys could send questions and we're gonna answer. Um, so join our Telegram group. It's gonna be in our
in our bio in Instagram and in the YouTube channel also.
Instagram and YouTube. So you could change your life, but you won't be able to do it alone. You need help. So either you could keep trying and keep trying and keep failing, or you could go seek a mentor. This could be your, oh yeah, one day I'll seek a mentor.
One day I will get out of this.
One day I'll break the cycle. You get me? Or it could be your day one. This is my day one that I have a mentor. It's my day one that I seek for help. This is my day one that I decide to change my life. Because you will not change your life unless you get sick of living the same life that you're living.
Thank you guys for watching us. In the description, guys, we're gonna have the link for our Instagram and our Telegram. So we are open, waiting for you guys. Thank you for watching us, and see you in the next episode.